Did you know that NVIDIA's stocks skyrocketed over 2,000% in the last decade? You heard that right. While most folks were eyeing other companies, NVIDIA quietly became a powerhouse that some investors said could rival the biggest tech giants. Stay tuned if you want to uncover the secret sauce. A decade ago, barely anyone pictured NVIDIA as more than a gaming graphics company. Now, they're like the muscle car of the tech industry, roaring past the competition with the GPUs that fuel everything from artificial intelligence to data centers. It's like they built the engine for the internet's next big leap. Welcome to the program You Can Surpass the Stock Market. I am Francisco and I teach people how to reach the peak where few arrive in the stock market without getting overwhelmed. You might be sitting there thinking, Francisco, what in the world does NVIDIA have to do with me or with beating the market? Well, NVIDIA is not just another random tech name. They've become a leader in advanced computer chips that power everything from your favorite video games to cutting-edge research in artificial intelligence. And the best part is, they're doing it in ways most people didn't see coming. The reason I'm so fascinated by this is that it shows us a path where a company takes a specialized tool and uses it to tap into a massive wave of growth. That kind of move can become a real game changer if you want to do better than the broader market. And remember, I'm not telling you to invest in anything specific. What I'm here to do is give you a clear picture and let you connect the dots. So get ready because by the end of this video, you'll know some little known insights about why investors have their eyes glued to NVIDIA. Let's dive into it. Many people believe tech stocks must be overpriced because of their fast growth. While it's true that high-growth tech companies can trade at lofty valuations, not all are inflated by hype alone. In the case of NVIDIA, much of its valuation is tied to actual revenue growth in data centers, AI, and gaming, sectors where the company already has a dominant presence. Although the price may appear high relative to simple metrics, like price to earnings, one must consider the company's leadership in a rapidly expanding market. Historically, value investors have used metrics such as P/E ratio, dividend yield, or book value. But for a tech leader, that's growing quickly. These metrics can be misleading because the companies reinvesting profits aggressively to stay ahead. This strategy often means lower dividends or higher PE multiples. But it also provides a runway for sustained growth that classic valuation frameworks may not capture. Tech stocks do trend to be more volatile, but volatility alone doesn't imply poor long-term returns. Historically, many successful tech names, think Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, encountered big price swings yet offered significant returns for patient investors. Classic buy low, sell high approaches can prompt investors to exit prematurely when they see tech stocks swing widely. With a fast-growing company like NVIDIA, riding out dips can prove beneficial if the core fundamentals like leading technology and strong demand remain intact. Traditional timing or momentum-based models might be too rigid in an environment where a single product launch or AI breakthrough can radically shift sentiment. NVIDIA's competitors are catching up, right? What if AMD or Intel beat them in the long run? Well, in the tech world, competition can be fierce, no doubt. But here's a surprising angle. NVIDIA isn't just selling chips. They're also driving a developer community. CUDA, their unique software platform, is almost a second language for AI researchers. Think about it like iPhone apps. Even if some other phone has better specs, the iPhone's ecosystem keeps everyone tethered. The same applies to NVIDIA. Universities train future engineers on NVIDIA's tools, which means the next batch of innovators is already rooted in the NVIDIA way. Sure, AMD and Intel have their own versions, but it takes years to persuade the entire programming community to shift the gears. It's not just about raw performance of the hardware. Everyone has to rewrite their software to match a different system. That's a tall order. While AMD and Intel are big names, they're playing catch-up in the AI domain where NVIDIA has been building roots for over a decade. Plus, NVIDIA's partnerships are kind of insane. Think top-tier cloud providers, big auto manufacturers for self-driving tech and more. To unset NVIDIA, AMD or Intel would have to replicate those relationships and outshine them in performance and convert an entire user base. It can happen, but it's a long shot. This is what's given NVIDIA such a formidable moat. They aren't just a chip maker, they're a community hub for AI developers worldwide. And for those of you who say, I don't understand NVIDIA's technology, it's too complicated. I don't like investing in things I can't understand. Let me tell you in on a little secret. You don't have to become an expert in GPU architecture to see the broader picture. Think of it like investing in a restaurant. You might not know the exact recipe, but you know if people are lining up around the block. NVIDIA's lines are around the block. Every major AI startup, research lab, and software developer is using their technology like it's a lifeline. It's helpful to know a bit about their GPU tech, but what really matters is that they solve a huge problem. How do we crunch massive amounts of data quickly and efficiently? The answer is specialized processors that scale better than typical CPUs. NVIDIA's found a sweet spot in performance that a regular processor can't achieve easily. You know how Netflix had that streaming technology that just worked, and no one else came close for years. That's NVIDIA in the AI hardware world. So even if you don't understand the nitty-gritty of transistors or clock speeds, you can see how widespread the adoption is. Their financial statements reflect this massive demand, and their partnerships reinforce that. So, doesn't sweet the details too much. Keep an eye on how often their name pops up in AI breakthroughs, how steady their sales are, and how they're investing in R&D. That's enough to get a sense of whether they're on a roll, without turning into an electrical engineer overnight. Come on, Francisco, AI is just a fad. Haven't we seen hype like this before, like the dot-com bubble? I get it. I remember the dot-com bust too. There were plenty of companies that soared, then fizzled out because they had no real product. But here's the thing. AI is not just another storyline. Hospitals use AI to detect diseases earlier. Manufacturing plants use AI to cut down on errors. Banks use AI to prevent fraud. This isn't about cat videos or novelty websites. It's about industries saving billions of dollars by processing complex data instantly. And guess who's providing the hardware that does the data processing? You guessed it, NVIDIA. The Fed argument that falls apart when you see real-world adoption. AI has become so essential that even your smartphone uses forms of AI daily. Voice assistants, predictive text, and facial recognition. All these rely on deep learning, a concept that demands tons of processing power. That power primarily comes from specialized GPUs and software built around them. So, while the dot-com era was about ideas trying to catch a wave, AI is about proven technology transforming how we live and work. It's like the move from horses to automobiles. Once cars got rolling, nobody wanted to go back. NVIDIA just happens to be the one selling the engines, the gasoline, and even the map to get us there. That's a massive difference from the hollow hype we saw back in 2000. But Francisco, I only invest in companies that pay big dividends. NVIDIA's dividend yield is really small. totally understand. Dividends can be a major part of many strategy. But here's a spin. Sometimes the best paying stocks are the ones reinvesting most of their profits back into growth. It's like a farmer who plants seeds instead of selling them immediately at a market. NVIDIA is pouring billions into research and development for next-gen chips, AI software frameworks, and partnerships with major universities and corporations. Why is that special? Because those seeds can grow into revenue streams that far outstrip what any short-term dividend check would look like. For example, think about how cloud computing started. Amazon barely made any profit from its retail arm compared to what AWS now generates. Similarly, NVIDIA's future dividends could become much more substantial if they keep expanding their AI and data center presence. That's precisely how some tech companies eventually start paying handsome dividends, or they do massive share buybacks that reward long-term holders in another way. So, in the meantime, maybe consider that you're trading off a small immediate dividend for a potential windfall if NVIDIA's growth strategy keeps rolling. The dividend yield perspective can sometimes be too narrow, especially when you're looking at a high growth tech stock that's fueling one of the biggest shifts in how data is processed. This might not be right for everyone, but it's definitely not a reason to overlook what the future could hold if AI keeps accelerating. And for those of you who say, I heard that NVIDIA's success relies too much on one product line. If it fails, the company goes down. True, GPUs are the backbone of NVIDIA's business, but consider this. They've already diversified those GPUs into gaming, professional visualization, data centers, automotive, and so on. Each sector uses the same underlying chip in different ways, which is kind of brilliant. It's like manufacturing a single basic car model that can be turned into a family SUV, a luxury coupe, or a heavy-duty pickup simply by changing a few features. This way, NVIDIA can quickly pivot if one segment slows down. And here's something else. They also have a platform called Omniverse, which is like a next-generation 3D simulation and collaboration tool that spans industries. Architecture, entertainment, manufacturing, you name it. This isn't just GPU hardware, it's software. That could easily become another significant revenue stream, letting them dip into big corporate budgets for simulation, design, and modeling. NVIDIA has also jumped into the world of artificial intelligence with full force, creating specialized chips for high-end data processing. If anything, they might be relying on the concept of parallel processing, multiple tasks handled at once. But that concept translates into many different forms. So they're not just a one-product wonder. They're a multi-tool company like a Swiss Army knife. If one blade dulls, they've got half and a dozen others ready to go. That versatility is exactly why so many investors remain confident in them, even with the potential risks. Isn't NVIDIA super expensive right now? The stock price is through the roof, so it must be headed for a crash. You know, Warren Buffett once said, price is what you pay, value is what you get. There's a hidden angle with NVIDIA that nobody mentions. They're not just selling chips, they're selling an entire platform, hardware, software, and ecosystem that developers rely on. It's like they're leasing out a gold mine instead of just digging up a few nuggets. While other chip makers might compete on raw performance, NVIDIA is packaging their products with specialized software toolkits that universities, startups, and tech labs around the globe swear by. That means they've locked in a massive, ongoing demand. Now, yeah, the stock looks pricey if you only glance at yesterday's price charts. But consider this. Some big institutions feel that the future of AI is almost a sure bet, and NVIDIA is the undisputed champion in making AI hardware feasible at scale. They also license their software for enterprise-level tasks, creating recurring revenue streams. So, while that price tag might appear high, the value is hidden in the fact that so many AI operations would come to a halt without NVIDIA's continuous innovation. It's not guaranteed to go higher, but it's not just a flimsy bubble either. You've got to look at the big picture, which is the entire AI revolution depending on next generation chip architectures that they're basically leading. Let's roll up our sleeves and explore why NVIDIA has become such a magnet for investor interest. Stick with me here because I'm going to break this down in simple terms, the way I wish someone had explained it to me when I first heard about NVIDIA. NVIDIA started out in 1990s focusing on graphics processing units, GPUs. Back then, most people only associated GPUs with gaming consoles and PCs. They made visual pop and helped the games run smoothly. Fast forward to today, and you will see that the company's GPU expertise is now the backbone of artificial intelligence computation. It didn't happen overnight. It was a journey, but NVIDIA had the foresight to recognize that the same hardware boosting your favorite video games could supercharge intense data processing tasks needed for AI. You might be saying, so what's the big deal about AI? Well, artificial intelligence is reshaping how industries solve problems. Doctors use AI for diagnosing diseases quicker. Banks employ AI to detect unusual transactions and prevent fraud. Even retail stores use AI to manage inventory in ways we couldn't even dream of a few years back. AI thrives on massive amounts of data, and it needs to process that data at lightning speed. Traditional computer processors, known as CPUs, aren't always efficient for these kinds of intense tasks. GPUs, on the other hand, can handle many things at once, perfect for AI's heavy lifting. And guess who had the best GPUs around? NVIDIA. It's like the sun came up one day, and suddenly everyone realized they needed the one specialized tool that NVIDIA had been perfecting for years. That's how a company that started with a focus on gaming ended up steering the AI ship for so many industries worldwide. Here's something that sets NVIDIA apart. They didn't just build hardware, they developed software frameworks like CUDA, which is kind of like the language that programmers use to talk to NVIDIA's GPUs. When you create an ecosystem that researchers and engineers learn in college, you end up with a dedicated following. Imagine you reinvented a new car engine and also taught every mechanic how to fix and upgrade it. That's basically the power of CUDA for NVIDIA. Instead of just selling a device, NVIDIA built a community. When AI researchers sit down to build a new model, they often design it to run best on NVIDIA's platform because it's the standard tool taught in labs. That's a massive advantage. AMD and Intel have their own software platforms, but they haven't been as widely embraced or taught. And that's not to say they can't catch up, but in technology, establishing a first mover advantage, especially with developers, is huge. It's what keeps people locked into your ecosystem. Now, a lot of companies are one-hit wonders, focusing on one product that might vanish if consumer preferences change. NVIDIA has segmented their GPUs into a bunch of different markets. Let's look at a few gaming. This is NVIDIA's original bread and butter. Gamers crave top-tier graphics, and NVIDIA's GeForce lineup keeps that crowd satisfied. Even when the economy dips, serious gamers will often save up to get the latest hardware so their gaming experience is as smooth as butter. Data centers. This is where AI comes in big time. Large tech firms and even universities rent server space to run AI computations. Data centers that host these servers rely on NVIDIA chips because they can handle huge amounts of parallel tasks. It's like they replaced an old lane road with a superhighway. Professional visualization. Think Hollywood studios creating cut-edge special effects, or architects designing complex 3D models. NVIDIA chips can render scenes and simulations at unbelievable speeds, making it easier for these professionals to do their jobs. Automotive. Self-driving cars, advanced driver assistance systems, these are not just science fiction anymore. They require smart computers with the ability to process visual and sensor data. That's another area where NVIDIA GPUs shine. They've partnered with automakers to put their hardware into cars that will, in the future, drive themselves. All these markets mean that NVIDIA isn't leaning on just one source of income. If a gaming hits a snag, data centers might pick up the slack. If the automotive sector slows, maybe professional visualization booms. This balance can make the company more resilient than a single product competitor. NVIDIA is also forming partnerships left and right. They work with tech giants like Google and Amazon to power AI in the cloud. They collaborate with startups building new AI applications. They're involved in initiatives with universities that are shaping the next generation of AI engineers. These relationships aren't just about making a quick sale. They're about weaving NVIDIA's technology into the very fabric of scientific research and business operations. A huge reason why investors love partnerships like these is that they often turn into long-term relationships. For instance, if a researcher learns how to use NVIDIA's tools at university, they'll probably bring that knowledge to their future workplace. That fosters a cycle where NVIDIA's presence grows organically, without them having to chase down every single customer. You might not be into financial jargon, so I'll keep this straightforward. NVIDIA's revenue and earnings have soared over the past decade. Whenever a company shows that level of growth, investors pay close attention. One catalyst was the surging demand for GPUs during the cryptocurrency mining craze. People were buying GPUs in bulk because they were excellent at mining digital currencies like Ethereum. Although crypto demand can be volatile, it put GPUs in the spotlight, leading even more individuals to learn about NVIDIA's products. But that's just one facet of the overall picture. The real meat has been in data centers, where AI and cloud computing create a near constant need for more processing power. NVIDIA's profit margins are also strong compared to many chip makers, a testament to their ability to command premium prices for cutting-edge products. As long as the demand for AI and advanced graphics keeps expanding, NVIDIA's financials are likely to remain interesting to big and small investors alike. We can't ignore R&D. NVIDIA consistently invests a hefty chunk of its budget into research. This ensures that they stay ahead in areas like advanced chip manufacturing and AI-specific hardware. They release new generations of GPU architecture every few years, each leap further solidifying their lead. Also, because technology evolves fast, resting on one's laurels can be disastrous. NVIDIA understands this, and they typically roll out improvements in speed, energy efficiency, and software capabilities that set them apart. We talk about AI a lot, but that's not the only future NVIDIA is plugged into. There's also a concept called edge computing, where data is processed closer to where it's generated, like in smart factories, self-driving cars, or drones, rather than in a distant cloud server. NVIDIA's smaller, more efficient chips can be ideal for these edge environments, opening up new markets far beyond gaming and big data centers. Then there's the whole realm of quantum computing research, advanced simulations for climate change models, and breakthroughs in biotech. Many of these advanced fields require serious computational power. NVIDIA's strategy is basically to offer a universal solution that can evolve to meet new challenges. So, if you're watching from the sidelines, it's hard not to notice that almost any big tech shift these days has NVIDIA playing a role. Some folks ask, what about AMD? What about Intel? Well, each has unique strengths. AMD fights hard in gaming GPUs and also has strong CPUs. Intel dominates CPU markets in many PCs and servers, but neither has matched NVIDIA's AI-specific GPU offerings in widespread adoption or developer loyalty. While AMD and Intel are definitely formidable rivals, and they are improving, NVIDIA remains the go-to choice in numerous large-scale AI projects and data center expansion. This is partly because of that CUDA ecosystem and partly because NVIDIA's hardware often delivers leading-edge performance. Investing in any tech stock carries risk. If there's a sudden downturn in AI demand, or if a competitor unveils superior technology, NVIDIA could face setbacks. Regulators might also grow concerned about tech monopolies in specialized areas. And like any semiconductor firm, NVIDIA depends on supply chains that are global in nature, involving multiple countries, political and economic stability. So yes, there are potential pitfalls. That's why I'll remind you again. I'm not telling you to buy or sell NVIDIA. I'm explaining why so many investors find it fascinating. People often wonder, why do investors flock to a particular stock? Because humans love momentum. When we see a company smashing quarterly earnings reports, forming big partnerships, and riding a massive tech wave like AI, we tend to hop on board. It's that fear of missing out, or FOMO, that can sometimes drive the stock price even higher. Sometimes the momentum is justified by actual growth. Sometimes it can lead to short-term bubbles. But with NVIDIA, many investors see a blend of both strong fundamentals, like real revenue and real profits from AI, and momentum from hype around AI. That combination can be powerful, especially if the fundamental side remains robust, giving the hype something solid to stand on. We already touched on AI, gaming, data centers, self-driving cars, and professional visualization. But there are other use cases too. NVIDIA invests in areas like robotics, automation, and even weather prediction. As scientists turn to more detailed simulations for climate studies, they need GPUs that can handle insane volumes of calculation. There's also a push in medicine for faster drug discovery, again, requiring massive computing power. As these industries mature, NVIDIA could find new revenue streams far beyond what most people see on the surface. We shouldn't forget leadership. NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang is known for his black leather jacket and his straightforward visionary approach. He's been at the helm since the company's early days. Many analysts credit him with steering NVIDIA away from being pigeonholed as just a gaming chip company. Having a leader who recognizes big trends early and isn't afraid to invest in them can make all the difference. This is part of why the company's culture leans heavily towards innovation rather than status quo. Ever heard the phrase, during a gold rush, sell picks and shovels? NVIDIA essentially provides the tools everyone else needs to succeed in AI. Whether you're a big software company building a brand new AI application or a startup trying to revolutionize healthcare, You need that computing muscle. NVIDIA's GPUs are those picks and shovels. That's why historically, a lot of investors have favored companies that supply essential tools during major economic shifts because they profit from broader adoption, not just from a single product. What's next for NVIDIA? Well, expect more specialized AI chips. They might also push deeper into 5G networks, helping to power advanced telecommunication systems. On the automotive side, they'll likely continue refining technologies for driverless cars and advanced safety features. And don't forget about potential expansions into new software platforms. The point is, NVIDIA isn't satisfied with the wins it has now. They continuously look for the next big step. So, to recap in simple points, GPU expertise. NVIDIA turned gaming know-how into AI gold. Ecosystem. They didn't just build hardware. They created developer-friendly platforms like CUDA. Multiple markets. Gaming, data centers, professional visualization, automotive, and more. Financial strength. Strong revenue growth and significant profit margins. Innovative culture, led by a founder who's big on R&D and foresight. Risk awareness. Tech changes quickly, so no stock is a guaranteed winner. But NVIDIA has a track record of staying ahead. These factors combine to explain why NVIDIA seems to pop up in every conversation about the next wave of tech innovation. Investors flock to that kind of story, especially when there's real substance behind it. When you see a company at the forefront of a monumental shift, be it AI, data processing, or even automated vehicles, it makes sense that investors pay attention. They like that sweet spot of real-world changing technology and healthy corporate returns. NVIDIA appears to occupy that sweet spot for now. It's not immune to economic cycles, but its technology has embedded itself so firmly into so many forward-looking markets that many believe it has staying power. Now, once again, I'm not telling you to invest or not to invest in NVIDIA. That's your call, and it depends on your comfort, your analysis, and your long-term strategy. But I hope this gave you a clearer idea of why a large segment of the investor world has grown so attached to NVIDIA. They see it as a pioneering brand in an age where technology is evolving faster than ever before. At the end of the day, technology is our future, and the companies who provide the tools for that future often prosper. NVIDIA's journey shows how a single innovation, GPUs, can branch into many areas of modern life. Whether you're beating the market or trying to learn more about which stocks hold steady, it helps to keep an eye on these technological trends. Because if you spot them early, you might just find yourself ahead of the crowd. That's the lowdown on why investors flock to NVIDIA. That brings us to the end of today's program, folks. If you found value in this conversation about why investors are crowding around NVIDIA, I'd love for you to hit that subscribe button. We explore all sorts of market insights here without drowning you in confusing jargon. So join our community and let's continue the journey of learning how to surpass the market together. Thanks for watching, and until next time, this is Francisco signing off. I'll catch you in the next video.